live. Mike?
What?
Mike?
What?
You're live.
Oh! Thanks for the cue.
That was like the 5th time I said it.
I didn't hear him. Did you guys hear him?
I thought he was talking to the mic.
That's what I thought too. There's one right there. Oh, hi, hey everybody. This is Mike at Dallas Geek. Brad's
That hand. Alright.
disembodied hand just joined the stream, I guess. So yeah, off to a good start, I guess. But so we are here today with everybody. Say your names. Say your names. Go.
Erica Muse from Scarlet Muse Cosplay.
And I'm that guy from that con.
What's your name though?
Chris.
There we go. That's better.
But he is that guy
From that. That is, yeah, he is that guy from that con.
That guy in that room right now.
So, what are we talking about?
Trademark that. That's smart. What are we talking about?
You guys invited us. I'm confused.
Mike.
What? What are we talking about? I don't know.
You really don't pay attention to the pre-stream meeting.
No,
Oh,
so
we're doing conversation about cosplay and cons and things like that.
That sounds like things we would talk about.
that does sound like things we would talk
The
about.
lights are so bright in here, I just realized I can see my undershirt, but that's fine.
Gotta get those clicks, boys.
I looked over and
I didn't light test this dress.
Yeah, you're fine. I just looked over at the screen and I realized that as pale as we all three are, as we compared ourselves before the stream, the white balance is really doing its job right now.
Yeah.
Kicking it pretty hard.
You trying to say that's why you see my undershirt? Because I'm so pale in comparison.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Also, we're all wearing, well, we all have a lot of black.
Yeah.
It's true. We wanted to show you guys the extremes.
Not
we
doing us
did
any
not.
favors.
Yeah, no, we did not plan accordingly. But so yeah, as Chris said, we're going to be talking about the basics of conventions, cosplaying. Since you guys are pretty, I would say, well known in the local convention scene.
Dozens
You
of
especially.
We just go to a
followers.
couple.
Dozens.
Yeah, a couple. Yeah. What was it? Was it last year? You guys went to one every weekend?
Yeah, it was like 34 or 37 or something.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't every weekend, but almost.
Yeah.
But I want to say definitely every other weekend at least. But there were a couple weekends where we went to multiple, like one on Saturday and one on Sunday.
That is insane.
There was one weekend where we went to like 3 in a row. We went to Chimichanga Con and then
There's
Pokey.
Did you just say
Poke Fiesta,
Chimichanga-Con?
Pokemon Fiesta, Fiesta Pokemon, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, Poke
It was Pokemon.
Fiesta.
It was fun.
Okay.
And then
Cosplay.
where did we go?
I
Cosplay
think.
Con. Yeah, I just ran around as Deadpool all day, and then I just changed his theme to like Pokemon, and then Chimichanga Con was already in theme. It was pretty convenient, so I just had my unicorn.
Yeah.
And then obviously, and then
Well,
Cosplay Con,
you had a
I
live
just showed like
unicorn?
some props. No.
Oh, okay.
That would have been cool though.
That would have been awesome. That'd be cool.
No, he hasn't been able to catch very many of those.
I mean, like, just the glue really bothers the horses.
God.
Yeah.
Well, before we continue any further with this riveting conversation, if you guys aren't already following or liking us on, what was it, Facebook and YouTube
If
and
you aren't
the
liking
Twitters.
us, please continue to watch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Make sure to go do that
First
now.
few episodes of anything.
Yes. Yeah. You gotta work out the kinks. You gotta work out the kinks.
You don't have to follow and like them. I
But
mean,
you-
I'm a follower.
But you don't let. Oh. Why did we invite him?
The snark.
That's true.
You gotta have that
Yeah.
guy.
We need balance.
Yeah, that's true. Wait, I already bring the snark.
Good snark.
Scarlet Muse is just too pleasant. I have to cancel her out.
I think.
So Kyla's on the stream. She wants to know where you got that dress.
I'm trying to remember if it was Think Geek or Hot Topic. Can you look at my tag? What's that say?
It says Marvel, her universe.
Her universe? Oh, that's online.
Okay, so yeah, so her universe line. So sometimes they have their stuff because their stuff is isn't it all produced by BioWorld, I believe?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's distributed to Hot Topic. It was distributed to Think Geek, but GameStop just bought them, which they sold a lot of really cool stuff on sale on their website.
We actually owned them for a while.
Oh. Huh.
We were just kind of leaving them as their own separate entity. Not that I have insider knowledge of that because I work for
You hear that?
Fun
Dallas
fact.
Geek owned.
No.
And of course,
Just stop.
I didn't think that's what he meant. You work at GameStop, right? Yeah.
Now that it's out there.
Yeah.
Yes.
You supposed to say that?
Well, you just said that.
Yeah, but I just
Sort
don't,
of.
you know.
No, but it's fine. In any
I don't want
case,
them knowing.
you can get the dress
Corporate overlords haven't necessarily
by
given their blessing.
looking at
Oh.
shops that carry BioWorld merchandise, or just going and looking at her universe online. There's probably still some on Amazon and eBay as well from when they did all their sales and stuff.
And of course, plug that means absolutely nothing to us. The owner of her universe is the amazing Ashley Eckstein, who, for the Star Wars fans out there, was Ahsoka. So, you know, you're just kind of supporting
I did not know that.
the great community of Star Wars nerds.
And
Did you look that up, or did you know that off the top
Oh,
of your
I've
head?
known that.
God, you're a nerd.
I mean, I double checked what her last name was, but yes, I've known that because I actually saw her stuff a while back because Star Wars, and yeah.
Because Star Wars.
So I'm actually
that's
wearing.
That's a valid justification.
Yeah. Why do you know that?
From the-
Because
Yes,
Star
it is.
Wars.
I'm actually wearing also pretty much everything I'm wearing except for this ring, because my industrial, my earrings, my boy shorts actually underneath this, and my socks are all from the
Take a look at
BioWorld
this.
sale in November. So they're all her universe from BioWorld. So yeah,
Okay, now what are you?
So who are you wearing?
Yeah,
The
who
answer
are
is
you
Deadpool.
wearing, Chris?
Deadpool. I'm wearing a lot of Deadpool.
I got an elephant. What brand is that?
No clue.
Possibly Banana Republic.
Can we say them on air? Are we gonna get sued?
No, but if
If
they want to
anything, it's an
sponsor us, I'm
advertisement.
okay with selling out.
We said we
Already.
would never sell out, Brad. We
I-
said we
we
would
need
never
black
give
tape
in
on
to
the
the
elephant.
I mean,
man.
they're literally the opposite of everything nerdy, but I mean, I'll sell out if they pay well. I have no problems with this.
Sounds like your Saturday nights back in college.
Hey, you gotta make money somehow.
That's true. You do have to
That
pay the
pool
bills.
shoot all over again.
Yeah.
God, the pool really.
I
He was
actually-
there, but he assisted on that.
Yeah, there. I saw things that I can't
We
ever
did talk
unsee.
about that, I believe, at one of our
Yep.
things.
Oh,
Yep.
I don't
could,
remember which one.
I could
but-
gouge my eyes out and I would never be able to unsee that.
In
They
college,
just burn it in.
Yeah, I know.
in college, I went to the mall dressed as a banana, and my friend was like a clone trooper, and we took some pictures in front of Banana Republic.
Because segways, kids.
And they made us leave.
Really? They didn't want the free,
Yeah, no,
free
they
publicity
totally
of a
right.
banana and a
You're-
stormtrooper hanging
Apparently,
out?
I don't know the rules. Costumes is a general rule that you can't wear at malls. You can't cover up your face either. We've worked malls, and that's been an issue.
Yeah.
Like for the costumes?
Only
and-
like when you go into stores, though. But that's because if you're shoplifting, then they don't
Oh,
know what
yeah.
you look like.
That
So if
makes
I
sense.
walk in there and take a bunch of stuff, and like my full Deadpool with like a mask and stuff on, and then I just run out with some stuff, they're like, I don't know, Deadpool took some stuff.
What do you look like? Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Kids, don't steal things.
That's what you took away from that?
Yes.
But also don't wear masks into stores because it makes you questionable to begin with. So.
That's what I took away from that.
Eh.
Everybody that I know that wears masks is
Or
already
clubs.
questionable.
But clubs will usually
Morals
just have you
aren't
remove your
big.
mask
I
to
think
check
that's
your ID.
I
And
think
then,
that's a prereq to be in the cosplay community. You have to be questionable.
yeah. A lot of weirdos.
Yeah.
I guess.
Like sitting next to two of them.
yeah.
Anyway.
Segues.
Yeah, segues, kids.
So cosplays in conventions.
Yeah, so I guess, I know you guys, you've been doing this for a little while. I know you
A while.
just kind of officially, like, because you started up
What's
your,
officially?
well, you finally just set up your Facebook and your Instagram and your, I think
made
Yeah,
social
he made
media
he made a
official.
name with like pictures and
I
stuff,
made a
but
name for
he's
myself.
been going
You
to
hear
the
that,
cons,
Dad?
I think since the year before I was.
Yeah,
okay.
my first cosplay, I was 17, so 14 years ago.
Well, it's like relationships. If you don't make it social media official, does it really count?
When you're an adult, yes. This is in high school, what the hell's wrong with you?
Babe, it's fine. It's fine.
So he was 17 when he
You didn't
started.
expect
I was
my
12 or
next
13,
time.
but we're 5 years apart, so we've been doing it for about basically the same amount of time
Yeah.
now. So 13, 14 years.
Okay.
I guess I'm a year older, so I should stop saying 13 years and say 14.
She's a year older than me.
No, then I was last time we were here. Never mind. It's fine. Anywho.
So yeah, been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
But like,
A while.
not well. It's never been my goal.
Not as well as her, I guess.
Never been my goal.
So I guess, would you say that you were a little more casual with it?
yeah,
Okay.
I didn't cosplay for years because like when I would go to a convention, in cosplay, you get stopped every few feet, and that's the
Let me
thing.
take your picture. Oh, that's dope. How'd you make that? Yeah. Okay.
As a cosplayer, you love that, but I started going to like the Dallas comic book conventions, and there was all the celebrities and stuff, and I was like, I totally want to meet all these people. But like, when you're running from line to line, you don't want to have to stop every few feet. So I didn't cosplay for years there, because I just go there and like get all the
I just want to have a
autographs.
good time. Everybody leave me alone.
Yeah.
He has a box of autographs that is to the point that it is hard to move. It is so heavy because he puts all of them in this like plastic slip to protect them.
Right. Okay.
And it's just this massive box of stacks of autographs with little sticky notes that divide the categories.
So
But
what are
it's
some of the categories?
nuts how many are in there. Voice? It used to just be voice actors, but I think now it's split up into like anime and video games and something else. And then he's got like Star Wars, and then he's got like
Star Wars, Star
Rangers.
Trek. Yeah, there's the Power Rangers. There's a lot of them. Doctor Who, Harry Potter.
Yeah, we would have to name all of our fandoms.
I've been going
But-
to all these conventions for so many years. We tried to total up like how much I spent, and it's like a little over $20,000 I
Jeez.
spent on these autographs over the last 15
Just
years.
think what you could have done with that money if you didn't have all of those autographs.
Just
But we got to meet a lot of
another
really
one
cool
of my
people.
car.
True.
But I have a box.
That's true.
I might be able to sell some of them. Like, this box worth a lot.
So I guess the question is, so they're in a box right now. Any plans to kind of set up like a shrine or like be super creepy about it and like
If we put them up somewhere,
kiss all of them as you go to bed?
they would literally cover the entire walls in a room.
That kind of
And I
sounds
want-
awesome and like serial killer.
I want to do that in either our costume room or our craft room.
Yeah.
But the place we are in right now, we're renting, so like we don't want to cover the walls in these autograph
Big
pictures
old
and
railroad
then
spikes
have
to
to
put
move.
them into the walls.
So it'll probably be something like after we buy a house or something, we might cover a couple walls with autographs just because it'd be cool.
Yeah,
like in their plastic things.
Yeah.
I used to have them on display. Like I think I had like the first 5, and then eventually I think I got to like 20.
Yeah.
And I was rearranging them constantly. Like, oh, I want to keep, I want to keep like Kirk and Spock next to each other, and I want to keep like,
Like I did with my pops.
Mm.
I've got a problem.
But now, since I've been going for so long, I have these collections that are like incomplete. Like,
Yeah.
I'm missing like one person out of the Next Generation cast. So every time she's on the screen, I'm like,
Just like my pops. So I know your pain.
Yeah,
I know your
that's-
pain. But so one thing you talked about is the fact that like, as a cosplayer, you do get stopped a lot.
Yeah.
And you said that like, yeah, it's dope, but at the same time, it's kind of like, well, like you said, you wouldn't be able to freely move around and get all those autographs and do all of that if, you were cosplaying that entire time. So I know at Fan Expo you were cosplaying and you were still running around getting autographs. Did you have a problem like still moving around as easily, or like were you still getting interacted with quite a bit, or?
It's drastically different than it was
Okay.
15 years ago.
Okay.
15 years ago, I had a horrible Proto Man costume, my first ever cosplay.
You showed us the
and-
picture at Galactic Swag 2 weekends ago. It was
It's
awesome.
pretty bad.
No, it was awesome for being 17 and making your first costume everything by hand.
Yeah, there was
I agree.
cosplay
He downplays
was not common. You'd go
Yeah.
to
It was
cons-
kind of looked down on at some points,
Well,
right?
I mean, it was
Not at the cons.
cons.
No, but I mean like,
But if I was running
Outside of the
around-
cons, it wasn't
right?
as
But like
accepted.
15 years ago, if you said like, oh yeah, I cosplay, people would be like,
They would all of a sudden think that you were into something very
Yeah.
strange,
Yeah.
and some
Right.
of them would hear it and go, "Is that like a sex thing?" And like take a step away from
I
you. And you're
mean,
like, not always.
If you're creative. But yeah, so back then you wouldn't see as many people in cosplay.
Mhm.
You'd actually see a decent amount of like people in just maid outfits and like
Yeah. A lot
kind
of
of the
echoes.
gothic Lolita style outfits.
okay.
I love
There
the goth
wasn't-
stuff.
Yeah, so when I went to A-Con that year, I wore Proto Man. There was one other Proto Man, like at the entire show.
I don't think I've ever seen a Proto Man.
And so I see him periodically.
Really?
And
Just
so
saying,
we
terrible choice in character. But continue.
there's actually I don't know who they are, but there's two friends or brothers that do. There's like a Mario Mega Man and then like a Luigi Proto Man. That's pretty cool.
Interesting.
I see him periodically.
Okay.
But yeah, since it was more of a unique costume, I got stopped a lot more often.
Okay.
So I think in my Tokoyami at Fan Expo,
Right.
I got stopped a decent amount. But usually when you get stopped, you'll get huddled around and like 10 people will take a picture,
Right,
and
yeah,
then you move about your business. Back then, people were weirder about it. Like,
Yeah, they
they'd
wouldn't take a
stop-
picture because somebody else was taking a picture. They would wait till they were done,
Really?
and then ask your permission if they could get a picture too. So you're like, okay, now I'm gonna stay here for you to get a picture, and then the next person would ask, and it's like, can you guys all just like unanimously take some pictures so I can go back to what I was doing?
That's
Okay.
actually kind of a problem because I saw this thing and it was like con courtesy or something like that. And,
Where
and
like
that
I
was
think
one
like
of the
you're
things,
supposed
like,
to actually ask somebody
Yeah.
if you can take their picture or whatever.
Yeah.
But if they're, I don't know, if somebody's posing at a con and I really
Yeah.
wanted a picture of them, I would probably just take it then while they're striking that
I just
pose.
know
Yeah.
full well if I'm at a crowded convention and I stop and pose, there's going to be pictures taken, and that's
Right.
perfectly fine. If I don't want them to take pictures of me and I only want my photographer to get pictures, then that's going to be a private shoot that I'm going to go do,
Right.
and I'm not going to stop and pose in a crowd at a convention, you
Right.
know, because that's people are going to take pictures. So yeah.
Well, speaking of, so I guess we can talk about private shoots because that's something that you do quite a bit of, and I know
Yeah.
we've.
Because I have to keep up with my social media and
Yeah,
Patreon
I was about
and
to
all
say,
that
and
stuff,
I know we've gotten behind the scenes stuff of some of y'all, so I guess.
some of my costumes also are harder to wear at conventions, especially since here recently a lot of them have been family friendly, and I don't want to wear certain things in front of children. So
as decent people would.
Yep.
Yeah. So I guess with the private photo shoots, you know, being a cosplayer and kind of putting as much into it as you do, I guess what would be, I guess, the main way to set up that with like a photographer? Like, what's trying to think of how to word this. I guess what's that process like? Like finding a photographer that you like to work with, and I guess knowing that they're going to really bring out what you want to bring out from, I guess, that.
Yeah, honestly, if you're just trying to find a good photographer that you can trust and shoot with, I would just ask if you have other friends in the community that are also doing photo shoots and stuff. I would definitely see who it is that they work with and how they usually go about things. If you are just looking for a photographer for the first time, it's great to get on North Texas Cosplay. You can make a post and just ask about it. There's also a couple of North Texas photography cosplay groups that you can join, and a lot of those people are just looking for stuff to build their portfolio, and so you can do what's called TFP work, which is trade for portfolios. So that means that you can use the photos for whatever you want to use them for, and then they can also use the photos for whatever they're needing to use it for their portfolios and stuff. As far as printing rights and everything, you want to make sure that you're also building your own contract so that you know exactly what rights they have to the photos and what you do, just to be safe when you're going out there, and that's just a general modeling thing. So that's a great way to get new work if you don't have a lot of money to put toward it. But if you want to work with a professional photographer that does have a name for themselves, there are some really awesome photographers out there, but you're going to be looking at anywhere from, I would say, $200 to $400 for your shoot if you want rights to all of the photos.
Okay.
Some of them have like smaller rates if you're just doing like 4 or 5 finished images, or if you're just doing the images for social media and stuff and you're not printing it and selling prints. So it really just depends on what you're needing them for and how you plan to use them. And another great website to find just photographers in general would be Model Mayhem. And just a rule of thumb, if it's a photographer you haven't worked with before, meet with them in a public place before the shoot. And the first time you shoot with them, definitely take a handler with you. If they say that you cannot, do not work with them, because they know that it's the first time that they're working with you and you do not have an understanding yet. So they need to, any professional will respect that.
Right.
And that's just a rule of thumb for, like I said, in modeling in general. I work at an acting and modeling school, so I always have to warn these young female models that are getting into it to make sure that they're taking the right steps, because people will do creepy, questionable things, and sometimes you end up in a very bad situation. So
Okay.
Yeah.
a lot of guys take advantage of, I'm a photographer.
Yeah.
I actually haven't seen this happen, but I can imagine that it does. It's like, oh, this girl's gonna come over to my apartment and get in her lingerie. That's pretty cool.
That is
No, your boyfriend can't come. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, I think the first time that we had you over, you came and hung out with us.
In my lingerie, yeah.
Yes, in your lingerie. Yeah, that was a little weird.
Really?
Especially since
There
you
was-
for yourself.
Well,
There was no dress code specified.
well, right, but it's not like we asked you to. You just showed up and you're like, I'm ready. We're like, we're talking to her, but okay.
Oh, yeah, I like to be comfortable.
And you just hung out with the cat.
In your lingerie.
They're fluffy.
As we
cat
look around
left.
for them.
So that was an interesting segue
Yeah,
from
segues.
cosplay
We
shoots.
have no cosplays that involve segues.
Just make sure that also when you're setting up these photo shoots, you're not wasting the photographer's time. You don't want to you don't want to work with a photographer and have them not want to work with you anymore just because you got there unprepared or they had to wait an hour for you to get into your get up. I understand like cosplay has a lot of components. The cool thing about photography is that if something is a little bit off, it can be edited in post, which is super convenient. So if you have things that are not very mobile for conventions, then it's really cool to get them in photo shoots and stuff. But you want to make sure that your hair and makeup ready most of the time when you're doing these shoots so that they're not waiting for you to get ready once you get there, because they'll usually already have their lighting and everything set up and ready to go, and so they don't want to sit there for an hour when they would normally be paid $75 an hour for a shoot. So they'll be taking pictures, and they could have already had a full set of pictures of you by then. So you do want to take that into consideration because a lot of photographers know each other too, and you definitely don't want to blacklist yourself and like, I don't know if you want to do a free shoot with her because you're going to be wasting like 5 hours of your day.
Right.
And the other photographer's like, yeah, okay, yeah, I don't want to do that. I'll just find somebody else that'll shoot with me for free. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just like, think about it if you were the photographer and you showed up somewhere, got a bunch of pictures in 45 minutes or whatever, edited them, and then like all of a sudden you get, you know, if they're a bigger photographer or a model, or it just happens to have crazy reach, like bam, you get 20,000 reach for that 45 minutes of your time. Like that's so much better than like showing up with somebody you don't know, waiting for an hour, getting the shoots, especially like somebody who hasn't. You got to research the character, find some poses and stuff ahead of time. Even when she does a photo shoot, sometimes I'll be there like pulling up pictures of the character, like, oh, try this pose.
And he helps me get into the right angles and stuff, because sometimes you're not sure the way that you're facing the camera, and you want to make sure too before the photo shoot that you've discussed with the photographer the character and the setting that you're going for, so that he's not confused at why your facial expressions are the way that they are or the way that you're positioning yourself, because he will continue to move to get angles that he feels are good for the camera and good for the lighting, and you may not get any of the shots that you were looking to get for that particular character because he's not familiar with that character. So send them reference images and make sure that you're both on the same page before you shoot. And also practice posing at home. Make sure that you're ready with some poses. If you have, I would say, at least 5 or 6 poses in mind and ready, then it's easier for you to play off of that and shift from that. So once you get into like the flow of things when you're shooting, you go from your first pose to the second pose you had in mind to your third pose, and all of a sudden you start having ideas. And that really helps the flow of the photo shoot as well, because you can't rely on them to know 100% ideas for all of these different poses and things, and you don't want all of your photos to look the same, or for both of you to not have ideas and your eyes are glazed over and you're bored in the shoot because you don't know, neither one of you know what you're doing. Especially if you're doing TFP shoots, they're probably getting work for their portfolio, so they don't have a whole lot of experience posing people. They're working on lighting and framing and things like that. So it's up to you to know what it is that you're doing in these images. So definitely practice at home, have poses in mind, and make sure you're keeping light in mind. Wherever the photographer puts the light, you want to make sure that your face is catching that, or you're going to have weird shadows and it's going to do different things to your face. So the rest of your outfit and your pose might be what you're looking for, but you can't use the photos because of the shadows that happened. So usually you want to find your light, and then you can shift your eyes around, but your face would still face the light. And if you want to change your pose, you let them know and they'll move the lights.
So that actually brings up an interesting point. When it comes to being in character in your cosplay, what's your opinion on that in a shoot versus at a convention?
So at conventions, I break character a lot for photos because people will be confused and they'll think that I'm upset while they're taking my photo. So if I'm playing an evil villain, if it's an obvious evil villain, like I'm Maleficent and I'm painted green and I'm being mean to everyone, then they get it. It's okay. I can stay evil in the photos, and they love like the dark, mysterious, and they're like, oh, this is
Well, that's
cool.
just like a normal Tuesday.
But
for you. Especially the painting yourself green.
Casting spells. And
Yeah.
but
Classic.
if I'm
Classic.
I'm trying to think of a character that's just kind of nitty gritty. She doesn't smile a lot. I guess when I was doing Cheryl Blossom, she's a little bit more of a tough exterior. She doesn't smile super often unless she's just trying to put up a front kind of thing and look like she's sweet and innocent. When I'm at conventions, I smile in all the photos with people, because if I give that like come at me look that she likes to give to people, or that whole like I'm too good for this thing, then they get that vibe from me, and I don't want that.
Right.
That's not me at all.
Yeah.
That's just that character.
Right.
But I don't want to come across that way to my audience. So at conventions, I carry myself very differently than when I'm doing the photo shoots, where I can totally let that come across and people are like, oh my god, that looks like Cheryl, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And they get that, you know, so I don't want to come across that way at conventions. So there is a bit of a difference there. And then if I'm doing a photo shoot with a photographer, I send them some photos for reference of facial expressions that I'm trying to get so that I can look like the character, and I'll do like a contour and stuff to look more like the character, and that way they're not like, you're giving me a really weird smile right now. And I'm like, no, I'm trying to copy this.
There's a reason for it, I promise.
Or I'm trying to hold my lips in a certain way to look like this person. Things like that. And so there's a better understanding there and not so much confusion, because a lot of photographers, like I said, if they don't know the character, they're just like, okay, give me a smile, give me a sultry look, and you're like, I'm a character that would not give you a sultry look. So it's just things to keep in mind like that. But yeah, definitely know your audience is a big thing for anything in the entertainment industry, from cosplay to acting to photos, any of it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's something that we've had to figure out a couple times. Know your audience. Like,
Yes.
some people don't have the same sense of humor that we do.
No, you have to know your audience.
Yeah.
So moving right along, because segues.
We've interviewed a lot of introverts, and because I mean that's kind of par for the course with a lot of the nerdy stuff. And unfortunately, introverts don't always get more over-the-top senses of humor,
Right.
and they think you're being serious. So
Right.
that was actually one of the things that we had to learn early on with our interview tactics was we had to learn to read the personalities really quickly,
Yeah.
especially if we didn't have a lot of prep time before the interview to get to know the person. So we just had to kind of figure out, okay, in the first 5 seconds, is this person a hard introvert, or is there a little something that we might be able to play with? If there's nothing there, we weren't doing it.
No.
It was going to be a very straight interview. It was going to be nice and
Cross the
easy,
T's,
and
dot
then
the
maybe there'd be a
I's.
little laugh
Just
here
get
and
outta
there, but
here.
that's it. That's just
Yeah.
we're doing the interview because it's going to be great, but it's not going to be one of the crazier ones that we've done. Which,
Right.
there have been some very crazy ones, which of course you were a part of about a quarter of them.
Yeah.
So
Ah.
yeah.
That might be on the low side.
Well. Yeah.
Just saying. Just saying.
So yeah.
Yeah.
I think Mike's trying to say I'm crazy. That's fine.
I mean,
In all the best ways.
Crazy hot.
she just gave me the
My
crazy eyes, and then I hear
word.
crazy hot. I'm like, oh god, what's happening?
Maybe those
Like, that's
crazy eyes are what I'm
terrifying.
into. Does it for me. Crazy eyes.
All right.
You got a little crazy behind
It's gonna
your
be your
eyes.
next single. Crazy eyes.
Isn't that already taken?
I believe it. I believe it.
I don't know.
We'll figure it out.
Just let the lawsuit come if it is. That's fine.
Figure it out.
So next question.
Yes, next question. Okay, so thank you for doing my job for me. I appreciate that. As I'm frantically searching things to talk about because I haven't had my coffee yet. So that's still like halfway full.
Okay.
How does that look?
That's your fault.
That is my fault.
I
Crazy
can't
eyes.
drink it faster for you.
You could.
But then you wouldn't get the benefit.
Damn it.
Yeah.
We haven't figured that
Like
part out
asking
yet.
him to go to the bathroom for you.
That is something totally different that you did not think about.
She totally does that a lot. She's like, I gotta pee, but I don't want to get up. Can you pee for me?
Again, something totally different.
It's
On-
not. If he drinks the coffee, it
weird
doesn't
parts
benefit
of
you.
the-
If he goes to the bathroom,
I
you
don't
still
think
have
she
to
gets
go.
what I'm trying to say.
No.
In any case,
Well, I mean, do you want to?
Yeah, for conventions, you said that one of the big issues with a lot of cosplays is they can be very involved, a little bit difficult to maneuver in.
Yes.
When it comes to things to plan for ease of cosplay at a convention, what is both of y'all's #1 rule for what you always try to do with your convention cosplays?
Chris first.
I have no rules.
Seen some of the things you're wearing. Yes, that is a true statement.
I mean, so D Rich, her #1 rule of cosplay is that she has to be able to pee in it.
Yep.
Hold on. By yourself.
Yes,
Yes.
without a bathroom handler.
She was also wearing a piece the last time we talked to her that every time she bent over, she would stab herself in the stomach with it, though.
So
which
she
I thought was
doesn't always
hilarious.
listen to her own
Yeah.
advice. But
She's like,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
no. We all would love to be able to pee in our cosplays. We don't follow that rule because it marks a lot of things out.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
especially some of the cooler cosplays on
And
there.
usually at conventions, there's really nice people in the bathroom. I know that's a weird, fun fact, but like
Is that where you
the
meet
convention
people
community is really inviting, really nice. No, sometimes I need help with my costume, and usually it's perfectly fine. Like I used to nicely ask. I don't want to put people out though, and I notice a lot of times people are in a hurry. They're probably like Chris, and they're trying to run around and get all these autographs. So I don't want to put them out. So I just kind of look like I just sit in the corner of the bathroom trying to get back together and look like I'm struggling, and someone will offer help in like 3 or 4 minutes. It's pretty great.
Just play the whole damsel in distress, like, somebody help me!
I've never met or asked for help from anyone in the bathroom.
Because you follow the #1 rule, you have to be able to be in it.
True.
A lot of dude costumes though, let's be fair, they give them like pants and a top,
I mean, that's
and then
true.
something cool that goes with it. And these girls' costumes, they have like clothes that practically levitate and a bunch of weird armor that just comes out of places.
Yeah.
And
So you're like, there's no way that's practical in battle. What are you doing?
Things like it's just there's so many impractical things that they put on these women, and it looks cool. I'm not gonna argue that, but they don't think about their characters peeing.
Some of their fans do.
Segue! God!
I mean, in the anime community.
Oh,
Sorry. Sorry.
Though, bathroom story.
We are live and we can't edit anything, but
at
so proceed with
Kameha-Con.
caution. Proceed with caution.
At
With
Kameha-Con,
conscience. Have a
That-
conscience.
That too.
there were 2 guys that saw Chris Rager walk into the bathroom, and they were like, "We'll just wait here."
No.
And so they waited like at the sink for him to like finish peeing, and then yeah, they're like, "Hey, we're big fans," and he was like, "Hey,
Let me wash my
nice
hands
to
before
meet
I
ya."
shake
mean,
yours.
He was totally normal about it, but like
Yeah.
it would have been fine if they'd have waited like 15 feet down the road, like, oh hey,
Let's
Chris
wait
Rager."
outside
Outside
the
the
bathroom.
bath- somebody
yeah.
else.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
very clearly saw him go in,
Jeez.
followed him in, and
Yeah.
then waited at the sink.
That's
Yeah,
Don't do that.
that's great. Yeah.
And Chris Rager
Mm.
is a great dude. Like, he's always super nice. She took his class.
Yeah, yeah.
I've met him like probably 6 or 7 times. And
No,
he
he's
was-
a great guy.
and
He's a
so,
family guy.
So looking
Awesome.
at his face, and he's an actor, so he's probably better at hiding
I
emotions.
mean, he
but he was
streams
still
almost-
like, "All right, nice to meet you."
This isn't totally awkward. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. And
Um,
he streams almost every morning when he's getting his daughter ready for school and stuff. So
Yeah.
no, he's a great guy.
Well, they
By the
waited
way,
for his
quick
stream
side
to
note,
end.
Tom McKee's on. He says hi.
Hi. Wait.
Goodness.
Oh. Hi. So one of the things that you brought up, yeah.
Waving at the computer screen.
So yeah, like hey, oh wait, right. So one of the things you brought up is I guess like the impracticality of some of the cosplays,
Yes.
like how they're set up. So I guess one of the things that's always kind of boggled my mind is like, how do you plan for a possible wardrobe malfunction or something going wrong? Like if it's a costume that, let's say, like you said, like there are pieces of armor that are like levitating off of you.
So when you
So like, what's the plan in terms of like, I have to stay conscious of like, if I move this way, maybe something happens, or like.
So if you're a professional or you actually plan correctly, then what they do is like everybody recommends doing a wear test.
Right.
And what that is you finish making it, you get completely done, you do your full makeup, everything, maybe you're doing a photo shoot before the con. That's always a great thing to do because when you're posing and doing all these crazy things at the photo shoot, you'll figure out what's going to malfunction.
Right. And then you go to the grocery store.
And then you've already got your prints and stuff, and you've used that time getting suited up and done up to actually get work for you to be able to post on social media and all that kind of stuff. And you can reveal your new costume, or you can even save those prints and then have them already at the convention when you're wearing it. But I, on the other hand, do so many things back to back, which I am trying to break that and have more time to actually make my builds and do wear tests and everything because I just haven't had a lot of time. But when you're doing it professionally and you're thinking it out, you're going to do a wear test, and then when you wear it at the convention, you're going to have, you know, if you're a professional and you're guesting and stuff, you're going to have like prints of what you're wearing. But I've done, I think at least 75% of the cons I've done this year, I was wearing something that I didn't have any prints of because I just finished it like the day before the con. And the way that I prepare for malfunctions is I bring a lot of safety pins and tape and a hot glue gun, unless, you know, I know that part of the con's gonna be outside, it's way too hot for hot glue. So then I've got E6000, which I know takes a little bit longer to dry, so I also bring a backup outfit in case I have to change. So at this point, I just pack a lot of stuff to be prepared for whatever may happen, because kind of just been there, done that kind of thing. So experience, I guess, is what changes that. But I highly recommend wear tests if you have time to do a wear test.
I love how probably a lot of cosplayers that might be watching this are like, wear tests are impractical because I finish it and then it's 9 a.m. and then I go out onto the con floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people, like, you'll see people bring in sewing machines to cons because they'll spend the first like night of the con finishing their costume.
Oh my god!
I think, speaking of Dee, I think when we talked to her at Fan Expo, her Battle Peach, I think like the staff or the sword had gotten messed up. She was like, yeah, I was up till like 5 a.m. like repainting this thing because, or it was the chest piece. She's like, I took it out of storage and it was all scratched up.
Well, we finished Larry on the night before.
Yeah,
we touched up the
Fan Days
Pokeball
last year.
Yeah, we touched up the Pokeball the night before.
Yeah, I remember you telling us that. You were like, yeah, I was up till like 4 a.m. doing this. I was like, sorry,
I did that with my Saiyan armor too last year.
Yeah.
I did it a lot last year. This year I did not. But that's because I was working a lot of jobs and I was already low on sleep. We were going to for the purge suits, because that was not going to happen. It still hasn't happened.
Wait, so what happened?
We planned out that we were going to sleep for 4 hours a night.
4 hours a night, like the last week before
for the last
Fan Expo.
entire week before Fan Expo. No, that's like.
Like, you're preparing for the fact that you're not going to get a lot of sleep.
Yes, we were planning out, like, we're going to work on these for 3, like, we estimated times for all the different parts, and then we were like, okay, that's this many hours. We only sleep 4 hours, and then I take pieces to lunch at work, and then I work on them for an hour at lunch, which I still ended up doing.
It at work a lot,
Like, we were, and then we would have had to skip all of the after parties for Friday night and then come in a little bit late on Saturday. It's like, this is exactly the number of hours that we estimated. And then on Tuesday, I was like, okay, let's be more realistic about this. We can sleep for 5 hours a night. We can sleep the second night of Fan Expo, and we can only finish your armor.
Yeah, but then I ran into a bump finishing the helmet, and the helmet took me 2 days, and we had estimated like 4 hours or something for it. So
it's a little bit off.
She was still gonna do it. She was like,
it took us a day per limb, and then I was just like, if I just don't sleep at all, he was like, then by the time you put the armor on, you're not going to survive to get to the con. And I was like,
now you sound like a crazy
also
person.
fair.
Yeah, like, I was like, okay, well, you're a guest at Fan Expo, you don't want to be miserable.
Right.
You want to be able to hang out, because literally one of these steps was Friday Fan Expo, painting things at the booth.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna want to meet people that want to meet.
Which we attempted and it didn't work.
I did. I mod
He started painting some. No, he mod podged some stuff, and then we started painting stuff. But then we realized, because we had to mix paint to make the right color that we wanted, and so I started painting stuff, and then people would come up and talk to me, and I couldn't paint while I was talking to them or signing things, and so I had to put the paintbrush down, and then the acrylic would dry, and then I had to remix paint, and then I had to start over because the gray wasn't the same. So I was like, I can't finish painting a whole piece before another person's at the booth, so I can't do this.
So I guess, so real quick, Lars just joined the stream, so go ahead and say hi to Lars.
Oh,
hi,
damn it, I did it again!
And second, so in your experience, when it comes to trying to finish a cosplay at a convention, is there a particular type of finishing, like a certain action that is better to be done at the convention versus others? Obviously, painting, you said, is not a good idea.
Painting is not a good idea because, you know, it'll especially if you're mixing your color. Like my feet are that aggressive.
You came into MySpace.
MySpace. Shout out to MySpace.
We missed you.
We're live on MySpace right now.
Hey, Taylor Swift still has a MySpace.
Yeah, but we're not Taylor Swift.
So I don't recommend painting.
Not yet.
You've got to have water. It's kind of messy. You don't want to get it on you because you're probably in another cosplay while you're at your booth, as a cosplay guest especially. So it's messy. It needs to dry. If you're having to mix it, that just doesn't work well while you're trying to multitask. So you have to make sure that you're picking a task that you can do and set down and go back to without having to do anything between setting it down and going back to it. So sewing, you can definitely do at your booth. I also wouldn't use a hot glue gun. People tend to not notice it if you are talking to somebody or doing an autograph and somebody else knocks it over. It melts things on your table. Just random things happen with hot glue guns. I don't know. Just no. It's now out of the
Seems like it's a
park
magnet
as well.
for something bad to
yeah,
happen.
it's just again, it's a messy thing. So no paints, no hot glue guns. A sewing machine, if you know you're gonna have electricity at your booth, sewing machine. I actually sewed a bunch of my costumes at AllCon the day before I wore them. So Thursday I wore Ewok, I believe, and sewed Valhallan, and then Friday, or was it Friday? I wore Ewok and sewed Valhallan.
Friday.
One of the days I wore Ewok, I sewed Valhallan, I wore Valhallan the next day. That day I sewed, I don't remember what I wore Sunday, but I sewed something and wore it the next day. So I basically finished my costumes for the next day, the day before, just sewing them at my table, and people were entertained by it, watching me make stuff, and super convenient. But I had like multiple 501st members that came over and had me sew patches onto their shirts or jackets or costumes, and they were paying me like $10 to $15 to do these like cross stitches just around patches, and I was like, that's awesome. So I would just be like, here you go, and it was like 10 to 15 bucks. So in any case,
is that the sound of
that was really cool, and I enjoyed sewing, so I was like, man, I should do this more. But most of the time at conventions, you don't have electricity at your booth unless you pay like an astronomical amount to have electricity at your booth. So most of the time I can't have my sewing machine, but if you can have your sewing machine, it's an awesome thing to have at con. But I wouldn't recommend much other than sewing things at your booth.
So if you have like, if it's more of a technical kind of costume, if you have like LEDs and stuff that are added last minute, you can leave those out until you're working on it at your booth.
Yeah.
2 AllCons ago, I sewed some LEDs into my gloves at our booth.
Chris sewed some LEDs into his Chris gloves?
Yeah, my Chris gloves.
Who were you cosplaying?
Chris from Bravest Warriors.
Oh, I had no idea what that is.
You're like, yeah.
That's your name, yes.
Yeah, I used Chris from Bravest Warriors and it was Beth. It was fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very
It's
cool.
like coiled little LEDs, so I can be like, pachoo, pachoo.
One more time?
Pachoo, pachoo. Yeah. Iron Man circles.
Yeah, I think that was the actual sound effect they made on set, and then they just had to fix it in post. Yeah.
Oh, back to photo shoots. After they take a bunch of photos of you, and you have something particular, if you have something particular you're going for, look at them before you leave. Because this was pretty early on in all of my photos, like me trying to go professional and everything. Cause I did used to just go for fun, and then I randomly was asked to guest at a con, and I had so much fun doing it that I was like, I'm gonna
I can
do this
make
more.
money off of this.
Not necessarily. I didn't really make any. I just had a lot of fun because walking around at cons, everybody's like, "Oh, who else do you cosplay?" And you're like, "Oh, I do." For me now, it's an insane amount of characters. So I'm just like, "Oh, I do like a little bit of every genre. What's your favorite genre?" And they're like, "Oh, I like anime and comic books and blah blah." And they like open up this huge can of worms, and I'm like trying to remember all the things that I've done. And it's cool because at a convention, I just have all these books, and I'm like, "Oh, I've done this person and I've done this person," and like they can just like see all of my work, and they can see props I've made, and it's just cool, and I can get more into detail, and I just really enjoyed that. And also being stationary for photos and stuff and not needing to like get through hallways and stuff as much, being stationary most of the time and just kind of meeting people that way and showing off my work was just really nice for me. But I still like running around the convention floor too, so I like to do both. Sometimes I'll guest and sometimes I'll just go and run around and have fun. So it just depends. But I do enjoy that part. But I did a photo shoot really early on as Beth from Bravest Warriors, and I had kind of done like a set on the set for me, and so we had like a white backdrop, and I had like laid out like a rug and like a little nightstand, and I had set up my Catbug backpack to actually look like it was Catbug in the corner playing with sticks. And I did all of that, and then I was on, I don't know how to describe this, so this is my backdrop, all the stuff is right here, I'm in the middle because he's taking pictures. He took all the pictures at an angle like this. You can't see anything that I set up.
Oh no.
And nothing that I did is in any of the photos, just me and like the wall and an outlet. So, and obviously like I can edit that out, but I can't edit all that stuff in.
Right.
And it wasn't even, like there was no photos of it, so it just didn't exist. So look at the photos or relay the message of what you're doing.
And like what you want
and what you're trying to what you're trying to capture. Because I think since he was out of the room when I set all of that up, and then I was like, okay, I'm ready. He didn't realize that that was part of the picture because he wasn't familiar with the show. He wasn't familiar with the character.
Right.
He was just like, okay, you've got this weird backpack leaning in the corner of the room and some sticks and this messy nightstand, and so he's just decided like that's a bunch of just junk. Let's not get that in the picture.
I've never heard this story. I didn't even think about it. I was at that shoot, and I
it's not in
know
any
the
of the pictures.
pictures.
It's not in any of the pictures.
I didn't
and
think
I
about
spent
it.
a while like
He's
making
like, oh,
sure
now I gotta cut
Catbug's
this
head.
out of her picture.
Yeah, I spent a while making sure Catbug's head was stood up, so it looked like he was playing with the stick puppets, and like it was a particular episode that I was going for, and all of my poses were from that. And so I get the photos, and I'm like, these look really weird without the rest of the photo.
Yeah, I remember
but
that.
he had no idea.
It's propped up with like a sweater.
I can't be upset with him. But yeah, Catbug's not in any of the photos. So look at the photos and maybe make sure you're relaying what you're trying to capture. Again, planning. Planning is important.
Planning's hard.
Planning is hard.
It's true.
Yeah. So when it comes to trying to plan a shoot, when you are just getting into cosplay, is there anything that is like the most important thing to pay attention to when communicating with the photographer prior to the shoot?
Well, like I said, just sending reference images, making sure that they know what you're trying to capture, letting them know what kind of props you're going to have, so that if they have a set in mind, they know if it's going to fit or not. Because if you're shooting a Mira and your trident is 8 foot and they don't have ceilings that high,
well, it sounds like you're speaking
it's a
from
problem.
experience.
So
8 feet?
D, she borrowed Dalen's. It's a very large trident.
Not 8 feet.
I don't know, it was something
She's
ridiculous,
exaggerating.
and they were trying to shoot it, and it didn't fit.
Well,
so,
he's like 6'5", and it's
I was
taller
like, yeah,
than
that makes
him.
sense.
Yeah, it's taller than
I'm
me.
trying to think.
I held it. I looked at it for a while because we went
It's
to his
very,
place.
very tall.
But yeah, I think it's probably 6.5 feet.
7.
Yeah, maybe 7.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's really tall. In any case, so they've had issues with that, or trying to get the whole thing in the image, because the photographer is just trying to make sure that they get the model and the lighting in the frame, like I was saying. And so if you've got a really awesome trident and the actual tip of it is not in any of the pictures, it's kind of, you're like, that's what I spent the most work on, was the end of it.
12
The rest of
hours
this is just
of
a
work.
gold pole. So it just looks like I've got a gold pole.
Yeah, that's weird.
Might as well be a pole dancing.
I would do that.
You gotta
if,
make sure
like,
you got the end of it.
If you didn't finish the end of it, like, okay, take pictures, but like, don't get to it's a trident, but I only made 2 of the spikes so far.
Yeah, so just things to keep in mind.
Okay.
So make sure they're aware of props. And then on location shoots always look better than trying to edit in backdrops. So definitely keep that in mind. Be on the lookout for places where it makes sense to take pictures of your characters. I haven't had a lot of time recently. A lot of my shoots have been very last minute, so they've been mostly studio shoots. But I'm really excited to get out and do some more on location stuff because it just looks really nice. And you've got good natural lighting and things like that, so keep location in mind as well.
Okay.
On reference images, there was one photographer that was like, hey, I want to shoot with you, and she was like, okay, I just finished my Belle dress. And he was like, cool, we'll shoot that. And then she showed up, and he's like, what is this? She's like, Belle from Beauty and the Beast, and he's like, not familiar with it.
Yeah.
How are you not?
So again, this was very early on.
I thought it was like a sexy dress kind of shoot.
So let's step back. So I was a
How do you
bikini
not
model for
know?
Sunbrew for a long time, and I modeled at Harley Davidson, and I did all of their car and bike meets and car and bike washes and all that kind of stuff. And this photographer was from those, And so I don't think he really fully read the message, and he had only seen some of my more risque stuff, I guess, and then all of my bikini work that I had done. And so he was like, I want to do a one-on-one photo shoot with you, and that would be awesome. And I'm like, okay, great. And he was messaging me through my cosplay page, and I, at the time, was trying to get cosplay photos, and I was talking to multiple photographers, and I didn't really put together, like, this was one of my bikini photographers until we ran into this at the shoot. So I was like, oh yeah, I just finished my new Belle costume, and I guess he assumed that maybe it was like a risque version. I don't really know where the miscommunication there was, because I even said from Beauty and the Beast.
He said he hadn't.
So he just didn't. Yeah, he didn't read
He
the
had never
message.
seen Beauty and the Beast.
But then when I got there, because he was excited to shoot, he was like, you're wearing a lot. And I said, this is Belle from Beauty and the Beast. Like, I was wearing the actual, like, yellow ball gown. And he was like, oh, okay. Well, you see, most of your cosplays are not like that. And he showed me regular bikini modeling photos. So we just weren't on the same page.
It's not
like,
a
at
cosplay
all.
buddy.
So yeah, make sure you're on the same page. That was very awkward.
Fun stuff.
And he was like, so are we gonna do any like photos where part of this is not there? And I didn't plan Belle undergarments or anything, so no, we did not.
Oh, by the way,
Yo.
Lars just chimed in. The Trident was over 7 feet.
God.
You're
3, 2, 1. Ow.
That was on you.
I
Are we back?
got nothing.
Are we good?
Yes, I just realized I put myself in the corner.
Everybody
Clearly
does
not-
put baby
clearly
in the
not a
corner.
baby.
Yeah. Wait, nobody. No, whatever.
Alright, so we're back.
Move that way a
Hey,
little
so
bit.
Brad, what happened? What?
Best not to
Oh well, it's fine.
What happened, Brad?
Soften things and
What
nothing
happened?
of
What happened,
note.
Brad? What
Everybody plugged in everything properly.
Definitely did not forget to plug in the cord for the camera. No,
Hey,
that
what's this? Is this the dead battery that you just threw off to the side?
totally didn't just happen.
Professionals.
So we're back.
Yeah.
Don't try to bring it back on the rails.
And what was it we were talking about? Props on shoots?
Props on shoots. You were talking about your bell.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, just miscommunication.
So always make sure that you guys have a clear line of communication and there's a clear
understanding.
of what wants to be.
Yeah.
Again,
Literally
photo
as-
reference of the character. And
Yeah,
he would have been
literally.
like, oh, ball
One
gown.
picture.
I'm good.
Yeah. It's so weird that he was like, I don't know who this is.
Yeah.
Well, another. Yeah, he'd never seen it.
Like because like you're literally like from Beauty and the Beast, and he was like, oh yeah, dope.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm assuming you're the beauty.
Yeah.
Yeah, one reference image. That's all.
That was- yeah.
Get a rough estimate of the character.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is what I'm going to look like for future reference. Gotcha.
So, somewhat related to that, I took one photo of her because we have a pretty good camera.
Mhm.
It's a few $100. Don't remember what type it was. We asked around. We're like, hey, if I want like just
It
a
was
real
like a
easy.
Nikon something.
Yeah, it was like, you wanted to post some selfies, but it was like these could be better.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And so that kind of like, I don't want to spend $2,000 or whatever you guys spent
Yeah.
on yours.
How much was your camera? 3,000? Yeah, no.
Yeah, I think
Plus lenses and other stuff
Yeah,
and things.
Yeah.
this was used, I think like $290 or something. So still to me a decent amount of money, but like, I don't know. And so it was actually really cool. She did a stream. So she got home from work.
The stream that's
She
gone.
she did all of her makeup and she did her hair, and then she made the entire costume on stream.
Yeah.
And then so I
What was
got
the costume?
home. It was Cheryl.
Cheryl Tent, Space Queen
yeah,
okay.
from Archer.
And
and then I got sick, and then I forgot that it disappears in 14 days if you don't highlight it, and it's gone forever.
Yes. So I got home right when she was finishing. So I did something. I like made dinner or something, and then so she closed out her stream, and then she was like, "All right, I'm gonna put this on, and you're gonna shoot it." And I was like, pressure. So I took, we did a photo shoot at a bunch of different places around the house, and then I uploaded it to the computer, Googled how to Photoshop, did some some filters and things, made it look a little bit better, and then she posted it. Like it was just like that was it, like that 5 hours from like makeup, making the costume, photo shoot, slight editing, posted it. And on Facebook, it had a reach of like 100,000 people.
That's dope.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I think
It
98,000.
went crazy.
That's insane.
I got
Oh, yeah, you guys
reshared.
were talking about
Yeah,
that
it
the
went
other day.
crazy
Yeah.
on Twitter too. Like compared to, I only have like, I think just under 500 followers now on Twitter. My Twitter is like super new. I didn't used to tweet. I used to make jokes about it actually. So, but I'm on it now because social media is like vital for working in the entertainment industry. So I just had to get over it and get on it. But so I'm there now. But so Twitter, it got like 5,000 likes or something, and I only have like 400 followers on Twitter. So
That's
it's weird.
awesome.
And then it went kind of crazy on Instagram too. I think it's like 4,000 or 5,000.
Yeah, but it
but
got like
yeah.
300 shares or something. That's
Yeah,
still on Facebook.
it doesn't accumulate the likes and reactions and stuff. So I think the reactions or the reach was about 100,000, and then like the reactions to it was like 30-something thousand. But then on the post on my page, it just says 300 something. So I'm like, come on, Facebook, get with the times.
Yeah,
But whatever.
and
Do better, Facebook.
I keep thinking about this
it'd be
because
cool if it like showed all of them
Right.
from like all the shares and stuff. Like that'd be cool.
so you've mentioned like things that are hard to wear and wardrobe malfunctions.
Yeah.
So I was looking through these comments on all these different pages because it's shared to a bunch of different Facebook pages like Geeks Are Sexy and like stuff like that. And
Are they though?
now?
Oh, okay.
Back in our day,
I mean-
they weren't.
Case
yeah,
in point
so-
right here.
So like almost everyone that had a decent amount of likes, like one of the top comments was like, "Does she actually wear that to conventions? Is that possible? How is that not falling off?" Or like, "I wonder how that's glued
Dude,
to her."
there are times
Because
that
it's
I'm
just like a duct that just goes
So-
yeah,
right.
like there are times that I'm just like, are you just praying constantly and that's what's keeping that on
So
you?
with
Like,
Cheryl, this is a funny fun fact.
Yeah.
I may someday wear it to a con that is not family friendly.
all con after none.
Just for safety precaution, because I would never want a child to see anything that they're not supposed to see. But
what in the world?
also with like my job and stuff. Well, no, just because the air duct might move. But to
Okay,
be
okay,
fair,
okay,
we were
okay.
shooting at home and it was just me and him, so I wasn't concerned. I was like, if something's showing, I'm just not going to use that photo. But the cool part that
I'll use
actually
that photo.
happened was that I got kind of hot, I guess, like
I agree.
streaming and talking and like crafting and stuff. I don't know. I wasn't exactly cool anyway. So like I put the duct on and then like kind of picked my girls up and put them in the little like metal loop thing that was there, and they just stuck and stayed there. And there was like this weird air suction. And when I took it off, it was just kind of like so it was just stuck there. They just stayed there, and I didn't wear anything. There wasn't tape, nothing. They were just there. It was just stuck to the air ducts because it was like metal, and I was like a little humid. So I was like, that was actually really convenient because that costume looked good. It was really comfortable, and they didn't go anywhere. So that was cool.
So then I guess,
It's warm because it's made of metal.
Right.
That's true,
Yeah.
and I was wearing 3 layers.
Aluminum foil.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a tutu that was 3 layers of foil that I had hand pleated all the way around and then taped together, and then underneath it had 2 layers of bubble wrap because that's what she has on.
So you were like 30 layers deep, basically.
So I was in bubble wrap and foil for like my lower half, and then a bunch of tape in my midsection, and then I had the air duct. So I guess
Never
like
would've
that's why I
guessed-
was kind of toasty.
Yeah, never would have guessed something like that.
So I was running
would get
around
warm.
in an air
Yeah,
duct
no,
and a
totally.
tutu, and I was
And
like
a
super
CD
warm,
overhead.
and they weren't moving anywhere, and like it was pretty fun and comfortable, and I was like, man, I might actually wear this to like a con sometime. But yeah, no, they just stayed there. I don't know. Can't explain it.
When people wear things like that to cons or in public, they have pasties, so you might see
Sure.
some stuff,
Yeah,
but it's just
not
gonna be like
yeah.
smooth.
Sorry, what was that? One more time? The
Smooth. It's a thing.
No, sorry. So Lars just jumped in with the suggestion of Prozaid glue to keep it in place.
Rosade.
I
have
feel
a lot
like
of
that may
spirit
have been a
gums, that's-
sarcastic suggestion
Oh,
since they
yeah.
spent many hours trying to get that off of her and it damaged her skin.
Oh
Yeah.
yes.
Ugh.
Yeah, so I think that was sarcastic. From that time that she was that really awesome looking alien, and
Oh,
we were
yeah.
all jealous because we wanted to be the giant awesome looking alien, but then she was like, you don't understand what it was like getting that off.
I think
30
she just,
hours it
I
took
think
to
she
get
just
crap
reposted
off.
that like yesterday or the day
It's
before.
really cool.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like
Oh
I
yeah.
don't understand.
Just not something that
I
you get off
think I would still
easily
do
or
it.
probably ever if you.
But
Yeah.
Like
I'm
I
not
wore.
totally saying.
So, in the realm of cosplay,
yes.
paint.
Mm-hmm.
So, when people are finding paint to put on their body,
Mhm.
generally speaking, I guess, what's the best route to go in terms of like finding something that's going to be easy to remove?
Just make sure they're not allergic to acrylic paint.
Right. Or like, let's say if they have like an allergy or something.
That's
like,
not
what's-
good.
I'm
well,
assuming there's a
acrylic-
story behind that.
Yeah, but in any case,
Neither of us.
Yeah,
Okay.
no. If you're using acrylic paint, keep in mind that it's only not going to crack for about an hour. So
Okay.
that's only good for like photo shoots or if you're covering it with something where you won't see the cracks. So
Okay.
when I did the Aqua Woman gender bend thing, the Aquaman gender bend thing that was all like
Yeah.
body paint and glitter.
Yeah.
You couldn't tell that the paint was creasing with my skin and stuff because acrylic, when it dries, it gets hard. It's not like stretchy or anything,
Right.
so it gets all cracky and stuff. But you couldn't tell because it was covered in glitter, and glitter was in all the creases and stuff. And so it just worked to fill in between the glitter and held the glitter really well.
Okay.
And so, and Abby Candy actually did that for me. But if you're gonna paint yourself and like walk around a convention, you definitely want to make sure that you're using water-based body paints. And the reason I say water-based is because it doesn't dry you out as much as other bases.
Okay.
And you can leave it on and it's usually less irritable to the skin. But you do want to make sure that you're doing a proper base before you put it on, and you're also putting over finishing spray, a sealer, so that when you're touching people, you're not getting paint on their stuff or on other people. And then to release the sealer, the best thing honestly is shampoo. So you just shampoo your entire body when you're
Okay.
done.
I'm pretty
If you're
hairy,
super
I'd do that
pale,
anyway.
Yeah.
if you're super pale and you use a dark color, you
Is
can't
it
really
gonna-
avoid some of the dye
Right.
dyeing you a little bit. But usually just after like a day or two, or if you just do like multiple washes, or if you do a body scrub, usually it'll come off with like dead skin. So don't do a body scrub right before you paint yourself if you're really pale, if you're doing a dark color.
Okay.
Because then it'll be there for a little while.
So then, when it comes to characters whose skin is a different color, especially if it's an extreme color,
Mm-hmm.
do you have a preference between body paint and body makeup?
Yeah, body makeup is like a grease. And I actually, when it comes to contours, I don't like to use the grease or gel or cream or liquid. You can use liquid for like your darker contours and your light contours, but when you go to blend them, I always use a powder, because if you're using a liquid, it's so much more difficult to blend it without just pulling it off. Like the grease and the liquid will just smear and leave where you've put it, and it just doesn't blend well. And I can do my makeup in like 10 minutes flat if I'm using powders, compared to liquids takes literally hours, because it's really hard to blend it without moving that from where you want it to be. So I don't like to work with liquids, greases, creams, any of that stuff. So I like to use powders. So when I'm using body paints, I use the water-based, which they're little like discs from Costco is where I get them, and then I use water to get it to release. It's almost like a makeup or something, so it's like dried out, and use water to get it to mix up and become more of a applicable pigment for me. and then it takes a while. You want to put it on pretty thick, and then when you go to do your contours, you'd use a powder contour to make it look more natural. Because if you just put the body paint on, it's going to look weird, and it's really hard to get the body paint perfectly even with no streaks or anything. So you want to do a contour powder over it, and that covers up the streaks, but it also gives you more shape, so that you have more of a physique going on, because otherwise you've just kind of flattened out all of your facial features and, you know, features on everywhere. So, and when you're cosplaying in general, I have to take into account contour of everything that's showing. So I don't always contour like my arms and stuff. It just depends on if I have like a really, really ripped character that I'm trying to play. But I'll actually contour my face, and this, if it's showing like my clavicle and like the dip in my neck and everything, like I'll contour all of this, contour my chest, and then I'll actually contour my abs to make them stand out a little bit more. But that's also because I'm super pale. So if somebody takes a picture of me with flash, you literally cannot see cleavage. Like, no matter how much I have going on, it won't be there. It'll just be gone, and my stomach will just be like nothing, and a belly button. It's just nothing. So, because it all gets washed out. Like, kind of like if you're doing a stage performance or a runway or something, the bright lights, you have to over dramatize your makeup, or you just get washed out. And so I do full-on contours pretty much everywhere that shows. Especially if I'm another color, then I've got to contour my arms, or all of a sudden my arms are just like, they might as well be a strip of spaghetti.
Yeah, and body paint is actually like, it's weird because it's very expensive.
Yeah.
And so when you see somebody who did like elaborate body paint, like that person spent a lot of money, probably just for that day.
Yeah.
And hopefully they booked a photo shoot at the same time. Yes. There was one time I was at a con, and I was in the cosplay repair room, and huge cons have rooms specifically for this. And I was standing with my friend, and this guy was like, "Does anybody have any blue eyeshadow?" And she was like, "I actually have some blue eyeshadow." So she gave it to him, and he used the entire thing to paint his daughter, like head to toe. And he just gave back the empty container, and she was like, "That wasn't cool."
Like, thanks, bruh.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's very not cool.
And then we got, when she bought her big body paint kit, the first 2 people we painted were Heather and Sophie.
Yeah.
And
that's funny.
I think one of them,
But I mean,
Sophie
I knew. I was up for it. I wanted to
There was
paint
a
someone.
lot of it, but it was like,
so I did
it's like half of one of those discs to like paint somebody most of the way. Yeah.
Wow.
And so like, I don't know how much that would be. I mean, I guess.
Yeah, I used almost the whole disc. They're about $30 per disc.
Yeah. So like $15 to paint your friend.
and yeah, I used most of purple on one of them or something, and then gray. Was it blue and gray or purple and gray?
Yeah, Heather was
one of those,
gray, and
Heather
Sophie
being
was purple. Yeah.
Heather Novocaine.
There you go. I'm trying to get them to shout them
She,
Oh, okay,
Sophie
sorry.
Gang.
Yeah,
she was
Heather Novocaine and
Hades.
Sophie. What's her cosplay name?
Enzel? SNL cosplay?
SNL
like that.
cosplay. Yes.
Yeah.
I was just trying to get
words.
because I'm friends with both of those people.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. So they were my first body paints. It was really fun. I liked body painting people, but yeah, I didn't realize how much it takes to paint a full person. We were also short on time, so they were very streaky when I was done, because I didn't. You know, you have to go slow. It takes a while. It probably would have taken about 3 or 4 hours to paint each of them.
Oh, wow.
And you know, life happens, and so we didn't start when we had planned, which no worries, no blame on anyone. So it just kind of happened that way. So I had to try to paint both of them in an hour. So it was pretty streaky when we were done. So I tried to go over to do contours really quickly with black eyeshadow, so we could get really deep contours without going over with multiple layers, because you really don't want to use a color like that dark. You want to use like a shader, something lighter, and kind of work in the contour so it blends nicely. But I went over a lot of it with that, and it turned out okay. And luckily in the photos you can kind of edit and smooth a lot of that out in post. But I would like to try again so it's a little bit of a smoother job.
The pictures were cool.
Well, I think
the pictures were cool.
And they had cool
I think
costumes.
Brad's willing to get body painted.
Yeah.
Am I?
You got to do something
Maybe one
stupid
of
for this
these
show.
days.
I do all the stupid stuff
I'm
right
all
now.
for it.
But
Well.
I think those were a couple. That was really fun, and then I really enjoyed. I did one of my brother's friends, Kobe, as Darth Maul, and that was one of my favorite
Nice.
paints that I had done, just because I really liked doing all of the tribal work, and it showed up really stark, and it looked really cool.
Nice.
And I was like, man, someday I want to be Darth Maul, but it's like way harder to paint it on myself.
So Darth Maul's red, and he has like tattoos, right? All the black stuff is tattoos.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
So for that, I actually painted all of the red, and then went over all of it with the black designs.
Nice.
So that you'd have like the stark edges for the black. And then if you have a character where you're like, they have a skin color, and then you're painting on the clothing too, then you would paint the skin color, you'd paint the clothing color, and then you'd do the outlines to cover up like the lines in between and make them straight and stark and stuff. You always do black last. If you don't have any black, just do your darker color last. If there's an outline, you do that after the two colors on both sides of the outline, so that you can make sure that one line is straight. It just makes everything easier. So there's a certain order to do body paint in, but it's a lot of fun.
Interesting.
It's a lot of fun.
Very
So I go to North Costco for water-based paints.
Okay.
Yep, yep.
Very cool.
Or Amazon.
And then finishing powders for contours. Usually you want to use a light skin tone color for your light contour. No matter what color they are, it'll blend because a finishing powder is partly translucent. So it's not a stark color. So you get like a lighter skin tone for your light contours and then a darker skin tone for your dark contours to go over the body paint with.
There's so many detailed how-tos in this stream.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, there are, but it works actually.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I mean, it's been very informative. That's why we brought you guys in.
Okay.
You guys kind of know what you're doing a little
Leaving
bit.
him into detail with that.
I mean, I brought you in for eye candy.
Yeah, he pretty cute.
So,
It tastes salty.
Kyla has jumped
You
in
just
here.
taste me?
I did.
Kyla jumped in here, said she would volunteer for the body painting.
Of course you would.
Oh.
Freak.
Wow.
What's she want to be?
That's up to her. And of course, Lars is all about yay body paint because, of course.
Freak, yes.
Lars.
Yeah.
Lars.
Body paint is fun.
Wasn't Lars body painting people at Fan Expo?
I was supposed to
thought
be her
so.
guinea pig.
Yeah.
And then, like, her model finally showed up, like, literally 10 minutes before they were supposed to go out there. But she was like, my model didn't show up. She's like, can I body paint you? I was like, define body paint. She's like, maybe your shirt off, but I'll try to keep it on the face. And
Lars. I would have totally been up for that.
I just kind of looked at her and I was like, you know what? Screw it. Why not?
And
Yeah.
Franco just jumped in, said that he totally agrees. Yes, body paint.
All right. So I need to.
So
one
now
of
we know
these
who
days.
the weirdos
oh my
are.
god, this would be so cool if we did like a shoot where I body painted Lars and she body painted me.
Same
Also,
time.
he
Not-
says
not in unison.
you, Erica.
'Cause she would have to not move when I'm painting her, and I would have to not move when she's painting me.
Franco says that he has a gift for you from England for when you meet. It's not a wand, but it's definitely Harry Potter related.
I like that he
Let the
specified that it wasn't a
speculation
wand,
begin.
which makes me wonder if it is something phallic shaped.
I
Oh, wow.
mean, it's Franco, so you never know.
But I like to cosplay Ginny, so I don't. Maybe it has something to do with that. We're doing Let's Play next weekend.
Mhm.
We can talk about that a little bit if you guys want to.
We
And
definitely
then
can.
we were curious because LeakyCon is happening at the same time, so we were
Is it?
wondering about going
Okay.
to one of those days possibly.
Sure.
Are you guys doing not doing Friday and or Sunday of Let's Play so we can go to LeakyCon?
So we're definitely doing.
Sunday is Jenny Weasley's birthday, so.
Gotcha.
Why do you nerds know this stuff? Like, I just saw, like, apparently, like, 3 days ago, like, everybody
Harry
was like,
Potter spectator.
yeah. I was like,
Because they're cute.
What's interesting is like Harry
I just
Potter's
like
birthday
them,
is
like,
on
there's- cute.
on the 31st,
Right.
and then I guess Daniel Radcliffe's birthday is like
The
on
23rd or
20
something?
Yeah,
They're like a
20
few days
wow.
apart,
It's
yeah.
like, yeah. So that's why.
For a
he
second
got
I was
that.
confused. I was like, they put the wrong birthday. His birthday. I was like, wait, no, that's the actual actor's birthday. I was like, oh my gosh, it's so close to
That's
Harry
hilarious.
Potter's
Com-
birthday in the book.
Completely unrelated. If Franco's still in here, he brought some candy to my place.
Oh,
It
yeah,
was like
he
White
did.
Rabbit. Like I don't know. It was really good. And
They're
like
really good.
I bought like some more bags of that on Amazon. It was really good. I don't generally eat candy, but like I don't know, super good.
Nice.
So thanks for that, Franco.
Thanks.
shout out. I'm sorry. Hashtag shout out.
But yeah, no, as of right now, we definitely know that we are going to be covering Let's Play. Don't know if we're going to be doing 1 or 2 days, but right now we're assuming 2, and we'll figure it out from there.
I can only do Sunday
Okay.
Well, that's fair.
because of work.
So, I can run around with you on Saturday, and he can run around with you on Sunday. Yay!
Dope.
Sweet.
Okay.
Seal it with a hand. Seal it with a high five. High five. High five. High five. Slap hands. Slap hands. Slap hands. You don't want to see this.
Welcome back to the stream, Scarlet Muse Cosplay.
Kill the feed. Kill the feed. So yeah, let's play. So if you would like to talk about that.
And then after
Why are
That
we
was the
looking
extent
at-
of that.
Oh, okay. I
We'll
was
be
like,
there Saturday.
I was like,
Well-
why are you looking at me like with that dead behind the eyes look? You don't know where to go from here.
And then, as for the stream, we have officially been going for an hour 16.
Jesus.
So, yeah.
I'm sure people have been watching for 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's an
Actually,
hour
we've had a few
14
that have
too
stuck
long.
around
Yeah.
for a bit. We've had a few that have actually stuck around for a bit.
Okay.
So, if you guys want to go ahead and just do a quick replugging of all your stuff.
Yeah, so
we
this
can
is
go
the
from there.
shameless plug part of the stream/interview.
Is
Okay.
the
So-
replugging, like, is the camera included in that?
It's
I don't know,
definitely
Brad.
plugged
Is
in.
the camera part of that?
It's definitely plugged in this time.
Yeah, so where they can find you on the social medias.
I feel like we only talked about, like, cosplay at conventions and shooting cosplays. We didn't really talk about just, like, going to conventions and stuff.
He's like, we got shit to do.
Well, I mean, do you have any convention going tips to share?
Drive.
So no train.
Oh, so that's what we always did.
You
We
don't
always did
want to
the
get
train.
on the train with crazy costume, especially if you're a guest.
True.
We
Yeah.
make like
Very
3
true.
trips to the car. Like, I'm not gonna take the train
right.
with 4 crates.
Yeah.
of
So I guess,
stuff.
I mean, do you have any do's or don'ts? If you're going as just like you're just
planning with taking your cosplays into consideration and what you're going to and what you're going to be doing into consideration. Like for Dragon Con, my packing for that is very different than any other con because I'm not going to fly with any props or armor or anything, especially since it's like stupid expensive to like have bags and stuff.
Yeah.
So we're probably just going to take a carry-on, so I'm taking like bodysuits and body paint for my cosplays for Dragon Con just so that it takes up less space on the plane.
TSA is
So,
going to be like, what the
planning,
hell?
making sure if it's an area you haven't been to before that you know other people that are going to be there, you know where you're going to be getting food while you're there, and you take that into consideration with your budget.
Yes.
Making
Con
sure
food ain't
that you make sure what the hotel allows. You didn't plan to body paint yourself when they don't allow any paints, so you get kicked out of your own room.
Has that happened before?
Things happen like that.
Oh.
So just planning.
Is there a story behind that?
Wait, so they don't let you paint? How would they know?
No. So at
Handprints everywhere. She didn't seal
So
it.
there was
She
an
didn't wash off
Acon-
properly and the sheets
there
were
was
destroyed?
an Acon, which I know it was primarily
Homestuck kids?
yeah. So, and it's not to be rude toward that group or anything. It was primarily Homestuck kids. They weren't sealing the makeup, and so it got on a lot of stuff in the hotel. It got on a lot of the artwork, and so they no longer allow body paint. Well, the following year, there were other cosplayers who were doing it appropriately that did not know that wasn't allowed, and they literally were not allowed to go back to their room as they were body painted. So they
What?
made them go out to the courtyard, wash off the body paint on most of the exposed parts of their body, to be able to go back to their room to pack up their stuff, and literally made them leave the hotel.
What?
Though I am a fan of publicly hosing down some people at conventions.
Okay, so since you brought it up, please, part of your dues for conventions. The floor is yours, sir.
Yeah, deodorant. That's it.
Shower?
You have one take home.
Shower?
I don't even care.
No.
Put deodorant on over that.
No,
It's better
Better
than
than
nothing. They've set the bar low.
Yeah.
It's honestly better than it used to be.
So here's my question. If you...
Just hang on, sorry, real quick. Did you guys see that, like, for some of the esports leagues, like, part of their rules is that, like, players have to shower and wear deodorant?
I love that.
That's good.
Like,
It's good. It's
how
it's-
bad
it's
is it that you have to
sad-
put that, like, in
it's
your
sad
league's
that has to be a
bylaws?
rule.
I used
but
to-
it's good that it's a rule.
Yeah.
It's honestly, it's worse. It's worse at video game events. I used to go around to different Smash Brothers tournaments, and like, it was worse than Akon.
Yeah.
But so I like that. I like that rule
Yeah.
But,
because
like-
they're public figures. Like, they should be
Oh,
relatively
But like,
hygienic.
honestly, if it's not a 24-hour convention, what excuse does anybody have to not shower and use deodorant?
because they're going home, yeah. I don't know.
It's not a 24-hour convention, which means you have
I only
time to
walked like
not
6
doing
miles today. I
stuff.
don't need to shower in the morning.
What? I don't get that.
Hold on, really important thing we didn't touch on at conventions.
Yes, ma'am.
Stay hydrated.
Yes.
Mm.
And multiple people passed out at my booth before. So
At her
take
booth.
water,
Take
stay hydrated,
They got weak
and
at the
take some
knees.
snacks.
Yes.
Yes. Pack some protein bars, something that's a healthy snack, not just a bunch of sugar and empty carbs that are just going to make you worse than the condition that you're in. If you are having trouble locating food or getting a ride for food or whatever it is that kind of there may have been a hole in the plan, or maybe the food trucks that you thought were going to be there didn't show up,
Right.
whatever it may be, just plan for that. Make sure you've got snacks and water, because if all else fails, we don't want you passing out or having a terrible time at the convention because of that.
That would be bad.
And
That
it's
would be very
embarrassing.
bad.
So one of the people that passed out at her booth was she was there with one of my good friends, and I think it was her first con ever.
And she didn't really prepare.
And she had been there for
But she's
not
also
long.
a young college student, and I'm pretty sure I know what happened because the same thing happened to me.
Yeah, so she'd been there for like an hour and a half. And honestly, if you're new to cons or you've never been to one, people love those people.
Yeah.
Like, I love when we go to a con and there's somebody like, oh my god, that guy's dressed like Cyclops. Oh my god. And that's what she was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She saw
She was
Lori
shocked by
off in the
everything.
distance. Lost Things cosplay. She saw
Well, she's
Lori
obsessed with
and she's
Tinkerbell.
like, oh my god, that Tinkerbell. I swear, that's like Tinkerbell come to life. And then she like turned the corner and she was gone. And then she was looking through Erica's prints like, oh my god, these are all you. This is so cool.
And I was just like explaining how I
that's
made
great.
stuff, and she just, like, she was turning the page, I was mid-sentence, and then she just, like, her knees just hit the floor so hard, I thought somebody had just, like, done a leg sweep or something, and she was, like, broken. Like, I didn't know what
Well,
just
actually,
happened.
yeah,
Her
she's-
knees hit the floor, and then she just went down,
She's like,
and she didn't know what happened.
she said, I feel kind of funny. And then, like, immediately, like, less than a minute later, she fell. My friend and I kind of caught her, but she still took a hard knee.
Yeah. Did she
and
not eat? Did she not?
She hadn't
She hadn't had water.
any water that day. She was real
So-
excited.
So, it was super similar to when I started college. I was on a meal plan, but the meal plan didn't actually start until the first day of school, and we had to be on campus 3 days before that. And so I just had like a stock of like ramen and water in my room, and that was like it. Or I think probably just ramen. I'm not a water person. I try though. But in any case, I think I just had a bunch of ramen or something. And so that was pretty much all I was eating for like 2 days, and I was just like playing video games. And I was playing Sims, and my friends came over, knocking on my dorm door, and I was hungry like a couple hours before that. But if you play Sims and you feed your Sim enough, you don't feel your hunger pains anymore.
I've heard the story.
And it's really cool the way that works. Not really. So then, so they're knocking on the door and they're like, hey, we want to go to Kush, which was like this like popular vaping bar thing in UNT that's got like black lights and you draw on each other with highlighters, and it's stupid but it's really fun. In any case, I was like, yes, I want to go to Kush. I always want to go to Kush. So I was like, so I left and I went, and I still hadn't really eaten anything in like over a day, and I had ramen for 2 days, so I was super healthy. And we get to Kush and we're like playing around in this little like hookah bar thing for a little while, and then we go to leave and we're crossing the street and I just hit the ground. But to me, I was like, yeah, that's hilarious. And I was like, how'd you get here? Why are we on a bench? I didn't remember passing out or that we had started to cross the street or anything. Last thing I knew, we were waiting to cross the street. I was talking to my friend, and then I woke back up middle of my sentence, continued my sentence, and then was confused as to why we were in a different location.
You boarded.
Like,
Yeah.
he might as well have been the Flash, and he just picked me up, and we were on a bench mid-conversation.
You like Nightcrawler teleported.
But he looked terrified,
Yeah.
as if to him,
Dude, what's your problem?
I had been shot. So then I'm like, what happened? You know? Because all of a sudden I realize in his eyes, I just died. And then there's a homeless guy next to me who hands me a cross statue and is praying for me. And I'm like, what on earth just happened to me? And why do I feel like I'm fine, but clearly the situation is not fine?
Right.
And he was like, so we were crossing the street and you just like face planted in the road. And I was like, what? And then there's some gravel on my face. And I'm like, why? And he goes, that is a great question.
What have you been doing lately?
and we have other people that we're with, and I turned and like, they're just standing there like, did we figure out what was wrong with her? And I'm like, so we go into the next place? And he goes, I don't think you should. And I'm like, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. And he goes, okay. And he grabs my arm. I give little statue back to the homeless guy who's real confused, which I think is just how he is. But then I'm like holding his arm. We're crossing the street. Happens again on the other side of the street. And the next thing I know, I'm on a different bench facing the other bench. Homeless guy has followed us. And I've got the statue again. And I'm like, okay, so I've ever taken a drink of water.
You're not supposed to do that.
And then they handed me another bottle of water. I totally drained it. Handed me a third bottle of water. I drained it, and then I was like, I feel so much better. And they're like, you're still very malnourished. So the ambulance guy runs across the street to Jimmy John's, gets me a sandwich, comes back,
Baller.
gives me a sandwich. I eat the sandwich, and then I'm like, I feel so good. And he goes, you're perfectly fine. Please eat. And I was like, thank you. And then they left, and I got like a $100 ambulance bill. It's fine.
That's all?
Yeah, I was on a college campus.
Oh,
so,
they didn't.
yeah.
They didn't pick her up.
They didn't pick me up. They
okay,
just gave me water and a sandwich.
Say, because that wasn't my bill when
But
I
I
had
didn't
to
even
go
have to pay for
That's
Jimmy
how I
John's.
pick up girls. Water and a sandwich.
So it turned out I was just dehydrated and malnourished. And so when she was talking about how she couldn't feel her legs and she didn't know what had happened, I was like, you haven't had any water or food today. And she was like, I haven't. But it's not that late in the day. And I was like, when was the last time you ate? And she was like, we were playing Smash yesterday. We got breakfast yesterday. Yeah, we did. And I was like, breakfast yesterday. She was like, yeah. And this is 2 o'clock the next day. So I'm like, okay, it's because you haven't eaten and you haven't had any water.
Okay, so you haven't had
and it's
food or
exactly
water
what I
in
did to
24
myself
hours.
in college. So, yeah,
Some
don't
people-
do that.
How do you guys do? I don't.
I'm not
Because
the
when you
kind
play
of
video
person,
games, you forget. Like, you can do something that distracts you from hunger pain until it's not there anymore. Like, your body will deaden it eventually.
No, I can't.
I do the opposite. If I'm playing WoW mindlessly, like
But then when you finally eat, oh my god.
if I'm
everything's
taking a
amazing.
flight path and WoW, like 6 minutes, I can find some food in
Right.
6 minutes that I'll eat for the next 3 hours.
Oh man.
No,
Oh
I get you.
my.
I get that. I do.
No,
There
I'll
are
be
days
like, I'll be like, I'm hungry, and then I'll be like, I'm gonna go eat after this. I'm gonna go eat after this. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go eat after this. And the next thing I know, I never ate, and I never logged off. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
No,
it's-
there are days where I've done that, where it's like
It's
I
like
just wake
the-
up, make my coffee, play some video games. I'm like, oh, it's 2 o'clock, and all I've had is a cup of
Yeah.
coffee.
I mean,
Crap.
I get totally sucked into that world, and that character might as well be me.
Minecraft for me was the worst because there's no like stopping points in Minecraft.
Yeah.
Like every once in a while, you're like, all right, I got
Like
my haul.
Sims.
I'm back to the surface. What
I
time
was
is it?
anorexic.
Oh no.
I was anorexic, and I could not play Sims for like a few years because between middle school and high school, I played Sims over the summer, and I ended up being
crazy.
dangerously anorexic because I wouldn't log off to go do anything else.
So video
So
games.
next
to lose
weekend
weight.
we're going to a video game convention.
She's gonna relapse.
All right. So I promise to keep you away from The Sims, Smash Brothers, Minecraft.
Second Life.
Second Life.
Smash could be interesting
Sims on
since they have
crack.
tournaments for that.
Do they really?
They did last year.
Right. Can I enter a tournament?
Let's do it. Let's all do it.
What are they playing on? Do we know? Which
It's,
Smash?
it's gonna be the
Melee?
one.
Or you think
The newest
it'll be
one.
Ultimate?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't.
Yeah, it's
Melee
gonna be the
tournaments
Switch.
aren't as big as they were like before this one came out, which
Yeah.
which sucks. Like my favorite was Project M. Like I loved it so much.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Is it bring your own controller, or are we gonna have them supplied?
BYOC.
It's probably bring your own controller, but they'll probably have. I mean, people
I
are
said that
nice
like it
at
wasn't
those
a thing.
things.
That's a thing.
I'm bringing
Like,
a
bring your
controller,
own
Brad.
Computer. My bad.
Hmm?
I'm bringing a controller with us.
I didn't bring my controller to a Smash tournament, and a pretty big Smash player that I like recognized. He's like, "You didn't bring your own controller." He was like disgusted with me, and I was like, well,
What kind
fine.
of piece of crap are you?
He's like, "How dare you?" It's like I just like walked in front of him, farted, and then kept going. He was like, "You did what?"
No, by the sounds of it, he was more upset.
I guess it is
Like
nice
50
of
Hail Marys and 50 Our Fathers.
But yeah, I mean, it was recently enough that I wouldn't have even qualified. But I was like, oh yeah, I want to do. Like, I had a couple friends there. I wanted to play. Like,
go mess
just
around.
a fun match.
I gotcha.
Like, I wanted to play with Mewtwo King because he was over there and like he's really good. And I was like, I just want to see how fast you destroy me. But you know.
Sure.
He said, I just want to see
He was
you
like
destroy
in
me.
his own world.
That's not weird.
Nope, definitely
Well,
not.
this guy is insanely good. He's one of the top ranked players for the last jillion years.
It was one of the first pickup lines I gave Chris. I just want to see you destroy me. I'm just kidding. It's not.
And on that note.
No, she was like, that's not my name. That was
That's
the
not
first,
a pickup line.
It's the first thing she ever told me.
This just got really awkward.
It's not a pickup
Yeah, good times.
line. In any case,
She's like,
Yeah, definitely.
I don't have
that
anything
was a
to
popular song. Okay, I'm just kidding.
She's like, I don't have anything to do until 3, so I'm gonna stretch out your stream.
Okay, no, I just wanted to talk about like conventions too. So
No,
you're not
you're
cosplaying
good.
conventions. I don't know.
No, you're fine.
Okay.
I've
Yeah.
had fun. Chris, you have fun?
No.
Brad, you have fun?
He's like, take it or leave it.
Sure.
Is the baby still asleep?
He is actually. Yeah.
Awesome.
Should we put him on camera?
He's
You
on
could
that
put
camera.
that camera on camera.
Like I feel like our regular viewers that haven't met him are
Brad's
gonna be
like,
like,
I do not
that
wanna wake him
baby's
up.
not
You
real.
don't
It's just an
understand."
excuse.
No, the baby was crying.
I
quite
should
a
make
lot
up a
before we got
baby.
Here, so.
Oh, sorry,
this is
everything's
nap time,
late.
So. Yeah.
I think next time we have you guys over, we're gonna be like, yeah, we're gonna put the baby on camera and just be Chris in makeup.
I won't be
I
creepy.
do have a bald cap.
You know what? I don't want
Master
to know.
Roshi.
Master Roshi.
Okay.
Jeez.
Fair.
You know how to make it weird.
Which, by the way, like
You made it weird like 5 minutes ago.
I was gonna mention this earlier.
She's weird and creepy
Like-
anyway.
I was gonna mention this when we were talking about Lars and her crazy body paint, where you cannot recognize her.
Yeah.
And like she, you know, that stuff is crazy impressive to me. But to a person who's not a con person, like me in a bald cap and sunglasses, is like
Like makes
Who
this
the hell is
day.
that?
like they put this up on the TV at my work. Like they have a slideshow, and like me and Master Ocean, it was like, guess who this is? And everybody's like, I'm guessing it's Chris because
Nobody else cosplays at work.
Yeah.
But yeah, like just that basic level is insane to people. And like colored contacts,
I
Like-
love them.
they change your costume so much.
They're so fun.
Just minor
God,
stuff like that.
was it the? I think it was when we had UND doing the Flareon and the Glaceon. And
Yeah.
You guys had the red and the blue, and I was like, going back and forth, I was like, this is so trippy.
Those were
'Cause
actually
it was
just
like
Dee's
fire-
eyes. Dee has really awesome ice blue
Was it?
eyes, and they're really stark.
I thought she was
and
wearing
I
contacts.
love
I
her
think those are
eyes.
just her
No, her
eyes.
eyes
Are they
are really
really?
awesome
Yeah.
blue. But for a lot of cosplays, she likes to be true to the character, so she'll wear colored contacts. But her eyes, like naturally, are a very pretty blue.
I just remember
Yeah.
yours being like
And
fire
jelly.
red,
She has very
and then
pretty
so it'd
eyes.
be like red, ice blue, red, ice blue. Just like this is
And then he
so.
looks over at me and he's like, shit brown.
I was like, at least you guys are keeping me focused on the eyes.
But I had LASIK a few months ago, so I can start adding in like.
Yeah,
I
he
bought
just
like
got colored
eight
contacts.
pairs of contacts.
Mhm.
So
I was about to say, do they
I need
make
an excuse
they don't
to
make
wear-
prescription ones, do they?
They do, but
They do, they're
that was
very
actually a
expensive.
big part of it. Like I
Very.
needed new glasses, but then I was like,
They're
okay,
about
so
$120 and up for the colored prescription, and then if you just get regular colored that are good and healthy and
Non-prescription,
stuff,
yeah.
they're about $30 to $40 per
yeah,
pair.
the cheapest prescription that I could find was like 65,
Ooh.
which
But
is
the color
fine.
wasn't very stark, so it didn't
Yeah,
show up on its
it
eyes.
didn't really-
And then the ones I got, like
'Cause his
I
eyes
think
are
they
really
were
dark.
like $13. So I was like, I'll take 8. Like Zoidberg.
You found them for
I'll take
13?
10.
I didn't realize you found them for 13. Jeez.
Finally being a
Mine were like
practical
30
consumer.
bucks.
Brad, what you doing
You
down
got a good
there?
deal. But I hope they're not, bad for your eyes.
Brad.
Her name?
Are we good?
What?
We don't know how to,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we don't know how to stop this thing.
Well, that's okay.
Is there a thing you run at the end, or?
Yeah, well, so this
He's
is basically
wave
so.
with the 2 fingers.
So real quick, plug your social
Sorry?
medias.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Erica Muse. I have ericamuse.com, and then Scarlet Muse Cosplay on all of the other social media platforms, as far as Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Patreon. It's all just at Scarlet Muse Cosplay or hashtag Scarlet Muse Cosplay.
MySpace?
Twitter won't give me enough letters. No MySpace.
Check
I
out
almost
my
said
Zanga,
Spice Space.
my live journal.
Twitter is just Scarlet Muse Cause because it won't all fit. And then you are.
On Instagram, I'm that guy from that con, and on Facebook, I'm that guy from that con.
MySpace?
And on Twitter, I'm that guy from that con. On MySpace, Cyanide Sandwich. That was my band on MySpace. And
Grindr?
Grindr. I got like 8 profiles on Grindr. I don't remember any of them because I burn a lot of bridges.
Sure.
As you do on the dating social media.
Twitch.com/GankyMixTab.
Yeah, I was gonna say on WoW you can find him as Genki McStab.
Genki McStab.
Yeah.
Genki McStab, the guild leader of the Shirley
Which has been your
Templars.
screen name since 2000.
I've been playing WoW too long.
1990.
But
Does it start with a 2 or a 1?
Yeah, was like 1990 something?
23
actually, I think,
days.
maybe.
23 days. WoW Classics coming out, and I'm gonna drop off the radar.
And he's pulling me in.
Okay, so.
And then ours.
I'm never gonna see any of
well,
you ever
real
again.
quick, so since they're about to go on a World of Warcraft or whatever the hell.
A bender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
WoW bender.
So, order a pizza every 3 hours.
No.
Oh, I'm great at eating all the time.
Okay.
He'll make
so
me
you need to
eat
make sure
then.
that she does.
He'll make me eat.
Oh, I do.
But I am going to be very distracted because, like, you can fly in that game and there's so many places to go and people to talk to and bosses to fight. Like, oh, man.
You can't fly.
You said I could fly?
It's like flight paths.
Ooh.
But, like, you can't.
She's like, I'm out.
You can't fly until
I'm not out.
Cataclysm.
I just... He said I could fly.
Well, and then ours. Brad, you want to help me out because I don't know ours?
Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, obviously for everything. And then, of course, if you would like to check out the audio of all of this stuff, that is going to be on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google Play, and Stitcher.
Oh, I forgot. I'm on Twitch. Erica Muse.
Are
And
we
my
on Twitch
Twitch
yet?
goes live
No.
again September 3rd.
Nice.
And, of course, never forget our website,
We have a website?
DallasGeekOfficial.com.
Nice
When
jingle.
you Google Dallas Geek, that comes up first.
Does it?
Mm-hmm.
No.
I put a lot of
Wait,
work into that one.
We're Google, like, certified?
Googleable.
We're Googleable?
I mean, if you Google Erica Muse, it come up. I mean,
And
what happens when
we're
you
doing
name
something
your
right
website
then?
that thing?
We're doing
Taking
something
time,
right?
yeah.
if you Google Scarlet Muse without the cosplay, you can learn about prostitutes.
On that note,
I
On
didn't
that
look
note,
it up without the cosplay
um,
before I used it. Jeez.
Remember to follow and like us on our social media platforms. For Facebook, it's up here somewhere, right?
Yep.
For YouTube, it's over.
I like that I looked at the ceiling as if you might actually have it bolted up there.
it's right here.
I was kind of
Oh.
hoping the camera was lower.
Anyway,
Any places else they need to like? So we got it up over
all
here.
social medias,
Down
but
here.
definitely Facebook and YouTube. YouTube especially, because that will help us out.
It will.
But
It
yeah.
will. Apparently, because we have to appease the
Totally up to
YouTube
you guys, though.
overlords.
Oh, of course we do. Anyway.
Yeah. So on that note, yeah.
Do Brad's wave.
What's Brad? Oh.
No,
that's,
he
that's
does it
his
with
way.
like 2 fingers.
Is he princess thing? Oh, this. That's how I wave to people when they let me pass.
Cool. So until next time, I guess, guys. I'm Mike.
Do it.
That's Brad. Who are you?
That guy from that con.
Cool. Who are you?
Erica Muse.
Awesome. Everybody, point at the camera and wave. Bye.
Point. Wave.
I didn't point.
Yeah.